friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half acre homestead. Well, it was grocery day today and we got a deal. These potatoes were on sale for $1.99 a bag. So we got 50 pounds for $10 and I got about, I don't know, that's a big bunch of mushrooms for about $7. So I'm going to dehydrate the mushrooms and today we're going to make seasoned tater tots and wedgie fries for the freezer. Alrighty friends, now what we're going to make is wedgie fries and tater tots, and to start off we need to get our potatoes peeled and sliced. Now you don't have to peel your potatoes if you don't want to, but I like mine peeled, and I also have pigs that enjoy the peels in their feed. And since I have that 50 pounds of potatoes, I'm going to have a lot of peels to share with my pigs. Now you'll have to be patient with me, folks. This is the third day I've had wardrobe malfunctions. I've had camera malfunctions. So anyway, what I've got here is a common apple slicer. And what we're going to do with that is we're just going to take it. It's not going to do it for me. This is the kind of malfunctions I've been talking about. And what this does is it slices. There's your piece that you're going to cut up and use for tater tots. And here's our wedgies for our fries. So this makes it much, much easier to peel. If you don't have an apple peeler and you don't mind eating your potato peels, that's fine. But this apple peeler is the one I use to peel and slice apples. And all you have to do is take this part down. This is the part that cores and slices. You take that down and you'll get just a plain peeler. And we'll cut the parts off that we don't. Angus, you don't like raw potatoes. Okay? So here we go. Just like that. And your potato is ready for fries and tots. And the tots, you're just going to cut them up. Alright, we'll be back when I have this bag of potatoes ready to go. Alrighty folks, so what we have here is 12 pounds of potatoes. And these are the peels and the ends from those 12 pounds of potatoes. And I'm just going to drain the starchy water off of these into the bowl, or into the, woo! I'll lose some of my potatoes there. Into this pot, and I'm going to put it on the wood stove with a lid on it, and this will be in the pig's feed for tomorrow. Alright, we'll be back in a minute when I have rinsed these off, and we're going to dry them and season them. Okay, now we want to dry our potatoes. They've been rinsed and draining in the sink. Now, you know me folks, I'm a great one for keeping old cotton tablecloths, and this is a really good thing to have for this big of a job. It's folded in four. My potatoes are rinsed and draining, and we're going to dry them, because if you don't dry them, the oil won't stick to them. Let's get our wedgies out here. And all I'm going to do is dump them on here and just kind of roll them around on the cloth. You want to get as much of the water off, like you let them drain for a good 10-20 minutes, but you want to get, and yes folks, this is a clean tablecloth, of course, it came right out of the drawer. Anyway, you want as much of the water off of these as possible. Alrighty, now our potatoes should be somewhat dry, and I'm just going to pick this up because this also will help them dry if you just do this. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle on, now this is about 12 pounds of potatoes, and I'm going to sprinkle on about 2 tablespoons of oil, maybe 3. There we go. And I'm just going to, I'm just going to mix the oil in there. I'm not going to get my hands in there just yet. But I have some spices now that I want to use up. I have some older spices that I'd like to use up. So in the old spice grinder, we're going to put some parsley. Now, this would be an excellent time, folks, to use your powdered kale, but I am out. But I do have some wonderful seeds for that this year. There's some Italian seasoning. Now, the first batch I made, Papa said they weren't spicy enough. They didn't have enough seasoning on them. So we're going to go a little bit overboard. This is minced garlic or flaked garlic. Like I said, these are all older spices I want to use up. Just a wee pinch of cayenne. Not much, unless you like them spicy. A little bit of paprika. Okay, a lot of paprika. I love paprika. Now, because I put cayenne and paprika, I'm not going to put pepper. Besides, Papa always adds pepper anyway. But I am going to use a little bit of coarse pickling salt. Remember, coarse pickling salt, at least this coarse pickling salt, has no additives. And we're just going to always wait for your spices to settle before you open that. Well, that's a lovely color. So we're just going to throw this all on here. And the finer the spices are, folks, the better they stick. I think we could use a little bit more. I think we could use a little bit more spice, don't you, folks? So let's do this again. Let's just throw some straight paprika on there because it doesn't need to be ground. I'm going to say, all told, I probably put a teaspoon of cayenne or half a teaspoon of cayenne in here. So let's throw some of this on now. It looks more white because I already put the paprika right on the potatoes. All right, let's just give these a stir. You only need enough olive oil to coat the potatoes and help the spices to stick. There we go. That looks pretty evenly coated, don't you think? All right, we'll be back in a minute with the trays. Alrighty, now I have my big cookie sheet lined with tin foil, and I'm just going to dump these on here. I think 12 pounds might have been a bit too much. I think I'm going to get another tray. Alrighty, let's get some of this on here. Oops, I ripped the foil with my finger. Now you want these fairly spread out, fairly even, so that they get a chance to partially cook all the way around. I've got my oven racks pretty close together, and I'm going to pop these in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. Because like I said, we don't want them to cook all the way through. And there we go. I'm going to get these in the oven, and then we're going to work on the tater tots. Now the centers of our potatoes, whoops. Now the centers of our potatoes are quite dry. So I'm not worried about patting them down too much. And I'm just going to take these centers and I'm going to cut them up into tater tot sizes. Now I'm not going to season these like I did the wedgie fries. Oh, there's a wedgie fry. How'd you get in there? Oh, well, you're a tater tot now. I'm not going to season these the same way because I like these more for a breakfast thing. You won't get as many of these, obviously, as you will the wedgie fries. But we don't eat potatoes for breakfast as often as we do for supper. We don't actually eat potatoes that often. We might only eat potatoes once or twice a week. But it will be nice to have these in the freezer on a busy day, especially in the summer when you're doing a barbecue. You get a pie plate, you put some of these on a pie plate, you cover it with foil, and you throw it on the barbecue, and you have some potato to go with your barbecue. Okay, so here we have, I don't know, about 2 pounds of tater tots. And I'm just going to coat in a little bit of, not olive oil, this is sunflower oil. A little bit of pepper, just a little bit. Because these are, like I said, these are more of a breakfast thing. And you don't want seasoned wedgie fries all the time either. A little bit of coarse salt. Some parsley. and toss. And I think we could use a bit more pepper, a bit more parsley, and just a pinch more salt. Angus, you don't like taters. Not unless they're cooked. Now, my wedgie fries are in the oven, and I have them on 2 different racks. So about 10 minutes in, I'm just going to switch them so that they're a little more even in cooking. All right, so I've got these out of the oven, and I'm just going to check. They're getting a little soft, so I just want to turn them. You preferably want to do this before they stick to the foil, but we just want to give them a little turn and a stir so that's nothing sticks. And we're going to give them another 5 minutes because, like I said, you don't want them cooked all the way through. You just want them mildly cooked. I'm going to give these another 10 minutes, then I'm going to take them out. I'm just going to let them cool. Let's pop our tater tots in. And let's have a look at these. Now, if you can cut them in half, but they're still firm, then they're ready. Oh yeah, those are ready. And I just thought, I'm going to put these out in my porch because it's, you know, -10 today. So I'm going to put these out in the porch and let them cool that way. All right, we'll be back when we bag them. All right, here we go. Putting them in the porch worked really, really well because they're nice and cold. They're not frozen, but they're nice and cold. So I'm just going to fill up dinner-sized. Angus, what was that? I'm going to fill up dinner-sized bags. Dinner or 2, depending on, you know, how many people are here. And pop these in the freezer. And that's another thing about only partially cooking them. If they're partially cooked, then they won't smush together as cooked potatoes would. Well, there it is, folks. We got 5 bags of seasoned wedgie fries, and when those tater tots cool, they will make 1 more bag of tater tots. So far out of 2 bags of potatoes, or 2 bags and a bit, I've gotten 10, 12 bags of potatoes. So next job is going to be dehydrating. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, just because it's winter doesn't mean you can't stock up. Bye-bye.